Hello, good morning, and welcome to this IntraLogisteX connected webinar. I'm Chris Walton, editor of Logistics Manager, and your host for this interactive session, where Access Mintsoft will showcase how they can help you make the most of increased e-commerce demand. And while we would all like to be at the Rico Arena in Coventry today for IntraLogisteX, we hope that our series of webinars bring you the very latest IntraLogisteX technologies and trends that are transforming the warehouse. As we all know, e-commerce boomed in 2020, and as many retailers finalize preparations for the Christmas peak, organizations are looking to take advantage of increased demand. Access Mintsoft's order management system makes e-commerce effortless. You'll be able to process orders quicker with courier and stock management from any internet-connected device with Access Mintsoft software as a service technology. In this session, you'll discover how Access Mintsoft can simplify how you manage all your marketplaces and all your e-commerce platforms. To help us discover how, I'm joined by Ben Kay, Business Development Manager at Access Mintsoft, part of the Access Group. Ben is a warehousing and online fulfillment expert at Access Mintsoft. He has over 10 years experience working in both 3PL and e-commerce warehouse fulfillment, managing various e-commerce projects and running 3PL warehouse sites. I'm also joined by Rob Hodgson, Warehousing and Online Fulfillment Industry Lead at the Access Group. Rob has spent his entire career working in warehouse management software and has over 10 years of experience working at the Access Group, implementing new software platforms for 3PLs, wholesale distribution and e-commerce organizations. Most importantly, this webinar is interactive, and Rob and Ben are here to field your questions when it comes to making the most of increased e-commerce demand. So don't be shy. Ask your questions throughout this webinar as soon as they cross your mind in the Q&A box that you can see right along the bottom of your screen, just here where my hand is vaguely pointing. I'll be able to post your questions to our experts at the end of the presentations. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Rob Hodgson, Warehousing and Online Fulfillment Industry Lead at the Access Group.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the kind introduction, Chris. I will just quickly grab the screen off you. Okay, great. So I mean, just to reiterate what Chris was saying there, obviously we're hugely disappointed ourselves not to be at the Rico meeting people face to face, and we've been supporting the IntraLogisteX event since its inception, and it's been a very successful event for us. So yeah, we were unfortunately not going to get to wear our branded face masks or turn up with our buckets of sanitizer to wash our hands every few minutes. But you know, hopefully this is a sort of a 30-minute or so session followed by Q&A that is of benefit to everybody, and we can hopefully educate you a little bit on how we might be able to help and how we help some of our existing customers. So first and foremost, for anybody that isn't aware of the Access Group, just to give you a very quick bit of background. So the Access Group is a large UK-based software author. So some quick numbers. We're turning over just over 300 million turnover as of our last financial year, which ended June. There's nearly 3,000 of us as part of the Access Group. Again, vast majority of those are in the UK, but we've got 300 people split between Australia, New Zealand also. So we are sort of growing quite quickly our overseas territories. And the key thing really to note about the Access Group is we are a good sized, profitable, stable UK-based business. So in terms of buying packaged software, you know, we would believe that's an important factor in making any decision. You know, knowing that the organisation you are working with is very financially secure and supporting now over 40,000 customers, albeit not all of those are purely in the warehouse management space. So both myself and Ben's background is four walls of the warehouse. That's what we focus all of our time on. And the teams that we would work with and the teams we work with day to day and the teams that engage with our customers, that is all we do. However, just to quickly bring you into the picture of the wider Access picture, we can provide a full suite of back office software for most industries and most verticals. So specifically within what we would call our supply chain vertical. So That is organisations who either handle stock on behalf of other organisations, what many of us would understand as a third-party logistics provider or an e-fulfillment house, as well as wholesalers, retailers, or a multi-channel business, which is what we would class as somebody who buys and sells stock and is actually managing their own product portfolio rather than having outsourced that to a third-party logistics provider. At the heart of everything we can offer is a core accounting solution. So sales ledger, purchase ledger, general ledger. That said, we do integrate with a wide range of non-access IP, and actually we integrate with more non-access IP than we do actually with our own, for the simple reason that warehouse management technology and order management technology needs to slot in and integrate with what is already there. So lots of Sage integration, lots of Microsoft integration, lots of SAP integration, and Xero, QuickBooks, to name a few others. This is the area that Ben and I focus a lot of our time in and have done for a number of years, which is kind of four walls of the warehouse. But we also have solutions around contract packing, production planning and scheduling. But again, this focus is very much around warehouse, online fulfillment and order fulfillment. But worth noting that, as a growing organization, if you are looking for other areas that we can potentially help solve problems for, we have got a range of other products which could range from HR and payroll software, holiday management, timesheet management, expenses management, CRM solutions. Now, the beauty of all of this technology is it's wrapped together within our Access Workspace platform. So unlike so many providers or so many businesses, you may have your warehouse management software from one provider, HR and payroll and accounts from another provider, and each system looks completely different. Every time you've got to log into a different system, you've got to remember passwords for 10 different systems. Access can really consolidate that whole interaction with software and that user experience through the Access Workspace platform with a single sign-on, single user interface to interact with your software regardless of what's under the bonnet and which apps that you access. A little bit like a smartphone. The apps that I have on my smartphone will be different to the apps that you have on your smartphone. And that's very much the way to think about Access Workspace. So focusing more on the sort of warehouse management solutions within the Access group, of which there are effectively two. So we're focusing the talk today on Mintsoft, which is very focused around e-commerce integrations. And we also have our enterprise warehouse management platform as well, which we're going to touch on just a little bit, but the focus being Mintsoft. So what does the world look like for a general, what we would say a Mintsoft client, or how do we help our clients with the Mintsoft tool? So on the left-hand side, you will see commonly used marketplaces, such as eBay, Amazon, and not on the high street, and also commonly used web platforms such as Magento and Shopify, which many of our customers, or if you're a 3PL, our customers will sell their goods on over the web. So we've got 159 standard integrations in total. Obviously, on the left-hand side, that's just 5 examples of the ones that we do integrate with. The bit in the middle is effectively, obviously, a warehouse. So this is the bit where we're actually managing the inventory, booking goods in, booking goods out. And on the right-hand side is what we call our courier management or shipping solutions. So this is this idea that you can automatically select a best value service for the size of the package that you are wanting to send to your customer, be that a pallet delivery or a small parcel or a jiffy bag or even a letter. So what Mintsoft is capable of is making an intelligent selection based on destination, based on weight, based on volume, based on size of that particular item, and therefore bringing costs down of courier services overall. Now, each one of these individual elements is deployable in its own right. So we have many of our customers who will simply have some sort of purchasing or sales order management system already. So that could be an Access solution, or it could be Sage, or it could be Microsoft, or it could be SAP, or Exchequer, or Pegasus Opera, or any of the kind of, commercially available platforms out there. And they will often use that to do sort of purchase order management and sales order management. What then happens is with your goods in processing, Mintsoft or our Access Enterprise Warehouse Management solution known as Delta will book goods in. So as part of the goods in management process, we can take hold of that expectation of the purchase order. So what have you actually ordered? We can receive against the expected quantity that you have ordered. and we can start booking those goods in. So the way that we facilitate that is either on a barcode scanner, in most cases, or paper-based if people are looking for something very, very kind of entry-level and low cost as a step on from a sort of Excel spreadsheets. And part of that goods in process can be automated system-driven put away to make sure nobody's wasting time looking for empty locations in the warehouse, and making sure that the space is optimized that you do have available to you, to basically increasing the capacity that you have in the warehouse. You're then managing stock once it's in the warehouse. So moving stock around, stock taking, auditing of stock, putting things on hold, and then you're doing any sample or batch testing of something that may need to happen. And that can also include, many of our customers are BRC accredited and manage stock for both food and pharmaceutical. So they may need to do something like a batch recall, for example, with stock that's already sat in the warehouse. Cycle counting is a big part of what we do. So it's this optimization of keeping on top of your inventory management and making sure that the right stock is in the right place at the right time, and any small discrepancies in that stock are picked up on regularly, rather than having a end of month or quarterly or even end of year stock take once a year. What then tends to happen for a lot of our customers now in the online space especially is orders will come through from the Mintsoft channel through the order management platform. So again, hundreds of standard integrations, which my colleague Ben will take you through shortly. So those orders will be coming in from many different channels. I mean, for a lot of our traditional B2B businesses, they will have actually diversified, especially over the last few months, into going direct B2C, because many of the marketplaces they have sold to traditionally, I mean, especially in the food sector, a lot of our customers that were selling into hospitality have had to diversify for the simple, for obvious reasons. So being able to pick up and start selling online and then have all of that integration automated into their core business systems has saved, a huge amount of cost and resource of somebody manually keying that in, and also the accuracy of that data being taken from the core platforms into that business system. So once those orders are flowing through, either, and again, whether it's over the phone, over email, or through one of the automated online platforms, we then go into the goods out process. So what the systems are doing are effectively executing on the demand that's been placed onto them. So picking, packing, and shipping, and there's lots of really efficient ways that we can do that. So picking lots of orders at the same time in a single walk around the warehouse to minimize travel time and minimize time spent walking back and forth to the same locations. What we call pick sequencing. So the ability to walk around the warehouse in a really optimized way rather than going back and forth to the same place. We've also got solutions such as task interleaving, which will allow us to put pallets away and pick out pallets at the same time, which is a really optimized way of managing stock within a very pallet-based, pallet-driven operation as well. But ultimately what we're doing is we're making that picking and packing process really, really efficient to make sure that the accuracy is there with barcode scanning and data handling, but also that the speed is there with regards how we actually allocate the work to the various individuals based on who they are, where they are, and what pieces of equipment they are on. And then at the end of that process, as we touched on before, there's going to be a courier management part to it, certainly for the online sellers, where people are sending out their goods through one of the many courier services or pallet services available. And we optimize and sort of facilitate all of that. Now, of course, throughout all of that, there's going to be some sort of accountability and stock costing that needs to be taken care of. So whether, again, that is an access solution that's managing your accounts package, or a Xero or a QuickBooks at the lower level, or at the bigger level, a Sage 200 or a Sage X3 or a SAP Business One, or a Microsoft Dynamics Nav, or whatever solution it is you're using, reach out, talk to us, and chances are we've probably done integrations which are very, very similar. From start to finish, goods in, managing stock, and goods out can all be handled on a barcode scanning mobile device. It is an Android app through the Mintsoft application, and therefore, very, very low cost devices should you want to go for a smaller, lighter cost device, through to kind of the larger, more rugged devices that we're probably used to seeing a few years ago. So just to recap, in terms of order management, booking orders in, and being able to do the left-hand side here, which is just retrieving orders and pushing those orders from a channel into your core business systems. That might be all you want us to do. You might also want to use us to manage your inventory and have better stock control in and around the warehouse. And whether you are a third-party logistics provider and you're charging for your services, or whether you are a wholesaler, retailer, multi-channel business, then again, very, very, very well suited to both of those industries. Although our history and background was in the third-party logistics sector, and that's really where the system was designed from scratch. That has put us in very, very good stead, because the third-party logistics requirements generally tend to be much more complicated than what we would call a multi-channel or wholesaler or retailer that just has one pool of stock to manage. And then finally, courier management and shipping. So we can, again, if you already have a solution for your order management, if you already have solutions for your core business systems, but you are looking to integrate with a wide range of couriers, then again, we can facilitate that element on its own. So each one of those areas is available to be deployed as an independent solution. Okay. Now, why is this important? Well, we all know what's going on in the world, unless you've chosen to lock yourselves away, which certainly at the moment, no one could blame you. So there's a huge trend, and there has been for a number of years, obviously, of online shopping, and that is only going to increase and going to increase. Now, top left, we're probably starting to recognise that symbol more and more often, which is obviously the current pandemic we all find ourselves in. We believe, based on the stats that we've seen, that the actual coronavirus pandemic has brought forward the general online shopping trend by at least 5 years, simply out of necessity. At the point where people were not feeling comfortable to go outside and go to public places, go shopping, obviously the internet and internet providers and the key workers in the industry have provided a different way for many, even though lots of us would have done some shopping online. You know, our trend certainly has shifted hugely. And, you know, this Christmas, the volumes we are expecting and the amount of online shopping we're expected to see versus, you know, pounds spent in bricks and mortar retail is going to be absolutely vast, as everybody can understand. There's this thing going on still called Brexit. I don't know if anybody remembers that, with the current 9 months worth of headlines, but obviously that is on the horizon, and that is going to potentially impact supply chains. It may result in delays of goods coming from mainland Europe and overseas. There may again be delays in shortage, and suddenly we'll find supermarket shelves not with the stock on that we would expect to see, you know, either virtually or in bricks and mortar. So again, the focus will be back on the logistics industry, and we will be back in the spotlight and hopefully be able to show the world that, you know, we are an industry that can rise to this challenge, and we can help the wider world get through situations like this, often seen as the invisible industry. You know, I think certainly over the last 9 months, it's really projected us into the spotlight and just makes everybody realise, you know, if you stop somebody in the street, suddenly, you know, that they will now start to understand how important a supply chain is. And then coupled with that is sort of what we would call a seasonal peak. So Black Friday obviously is a well-known seasonal day, but really that's, I mean, really for us, the actual seasonal peak started yesterday. From early October, most of our customers will see huge volumes ramp up on the run up to the seasonal peaks on and around Christmas, with things starting to drop off sort of the week before Christmas, and then things slowly picking back up again in that first week of January as people again start to try and put promotions on. Now, really all of this is an absolute perfect storm of why so many of our customers are either seeing increased volumes, or many people are coming to us basically just for help. So whether it's advice and just good advice you're looking for, if we can't help you, we're not an organisation that would try and push a solution onto somebody that we don't feel is appropriate. We've got lots of partners that do similar things to what we do, including warehouse management system partners, other ERP providers. I mean, Unleashed is a very good platform that we work closely with for small online retailers that suits B2B very, very well. So we will put you in the right direction if we do not think we can help you. But the key thing here is the general trend is in one direction. Any graph that starts small on the left-hand side and gets bigger on the right-hand side, you know, generally is a positive thing. And, you know, my personal opinion, obviously the industry we're in, the trend, the move to online shopping I think is a positive trend for lots of organisations. It gives smaller organisations the chance to take part of the market, which has traditionally been completely dominated by the massive retail chains. So I do think this is a good trend, but people have got to be ready for it, because the alternative to good software, good processes and good solutions is more bodies and more people. So increased turnover with a massive increased overhead, which ultimately is not going to increase profitability for small organisations, where sort of cash is king, and these small businesses need to thrive in their early years to hopefully grow and continue to grow. So hopefully that sets the scene a little bit of what we do and how we help our customers. And I'm now going to hand over to Ben just to take you through some of the software itself, so you can start to visualize the type of software that we can provide you with. And yeah, over to you, Ben.
Thanks, Rob. I'm sure everyone's quite keen to see some software. So without hesitation, I will jump in and start showing some MintSoft. A couple of things to note, first of all, we cater to two types of businesses, as Rob's touched on. Your multi-channel sellers, anybody that sells their own goods online, fulfills their own orders, the pick, pack, dispatch process they do themselves. And then we have our third-party logistics businesses. Obviously, they're providing that service for their clients. They will obviously provide storage and a pick, pack, dispatch process for them as well, of course, at a fee. Main difference between the two is really down to some very useful billing features that we have inside MintSoft, where we will store your clients' charges and automatically calculate and invoice your clients for you. So, of course, that's going to save you a lot of time, but also ensure that all of those charges are captured and you're not missing anything, whilst providing a very detailed breakdown as well for your clients, which is nice because then you've got that transparency between yourselves and your clients as well. Multi-channel sellers, of course, we are going to touch on the billing information as I quickly go through the software here, billing features rather. But don't worry, everything else will apply to you. We also have two types of user in the system. So we have what we refer to as our warehouse users, which is essentially anybody that works directly for your company. Then we have, for our 3PLs, we have client users. So as the name suggests, it means your clients can also have access to the system. Obviously, at a far more restricted level. Okay, there's certain things they won't be able to do or see right from the offset. However, warehouse users and client users are all completely restrictable. You have real granular control over what people can and can't do or see in the system also. Everybody can also have a customized dashboard, which is what you're seeing here. So we've got these different modules. Okay, so these you can chop and change as you like, so that every user in the system has the at-a-glance information that's relevant to their specific role within the company. So, for example, your clients may be very interested in their top-performing SKUs across all of their channels, or as a multi-channel seller, that would be quite interesting to you, as well as revenue across your different sales channels there. However, as the sort of warehouse operative, you may be interested in an aisle summary, just showing you how full the warehouse is, or perhaps a goods in calendar, so you can keep track of all the deliveries inbound throughout the month there. As a default then, for 3PLs, you will see information in the system for all of your clients in the system. However, you do have a client filter at the top here that you can drill down into and select a specific client of yours to just see the information for them in the system. And then just quickly, as we're talking of 3PLs, if I just jump in here, you can see where we store some of our billing information. So up here, we've got picking costs, storage costs, and goods in costs. Now, this is set per client, of course, because not all clients are necessarily charged the same amount or via the same charging method. For example, here under picking costs, you can see we've got different options here, such as per item or per order line. And here we can set those costs for first items and additional items, for example. Cartons as well and pallets can be done in the same way, as well as returns and, of course, a default packaging fee down the bottom. And then we've got storage costs that work in a very similar way. Again, different methods here to choose from, your fees here, and, of course, the frequency in which they're being charged. And then goods in, lastly here, where you're covered for pretty much every eventuality, really, from cartons and pallets through to different types of containers down here as well. So obviously having this in will just enable us to automate that process for you and just automatically generate those invoices. So whether you're a multi-channel seller or a 3PL, you're probably going to be dealing with stock, with products on some level, of course. So here we've got our products overview page, very self-explanatory page. To be honest, we've got a nice image of the product here, the SKU, the name, and we can categorize them for you as well. And then a traffic light system for your stock levels. So of course, red being out of stock, amber is your low stock level alert for the product. So you can set that individually at product level there. And then green, of course, is a good stock level. And we can drill down into these a little bit more at this level as well. So this is quite useful for 3PLs because your clients can come in and keep track of their stock levels also. So we can see our stock level here is 456. We have 360 of this product currently allocated to orders in the system at the moment, which leaves us an on-hand available stock level of 96. So that's what we'll display here in the little traffic light symbol. That's also the number we'll push out to all of the sales channels. So in terms of sales channels, as Rob rightly pointed out, there are a lot to choose from or take advantage of. Just jump into my order integrations here. So the likes of your Amazons, eBays, Shopify's, Etsy, not on the high street, they're all in here and they're all very, very easy to set up. Which is obviously very handy from a 3PL's perspective in onboarding new clients. But also as a multi-channel seller, you may add new clients, obviously, as you develop, as you grow, as you reach out to new customer bases. So it's very easy to jump in and add a new channel. So if we're going to Shopify here and add account, just to see just briefly how simple this is, you can see we're asked for a URL, an API key, and an API password. So that information is generated inside the store itself. Take you around 3 minutes to do so. And we've got very helpful guides on that down here in our help guides section. And then we just click add once we pop that in. So it's a very, very simple process, 5 minutes really to connect up a channel for you. We've obviously got some nice features in here as well, such as stock sync. So this, of course, will push our stock levels in MintSoft out to the sales channel there. We can do that as regular as every 15 minutes as well. So it's very, very regular throughout the day. And then we've got sync new products here as well. So this will enable MintSoft to pull any products, existing products in Shopify into MintSoft to get them up and running, but also any new products yourselves or your clients may add into that sales channel. We can pull that through straight away so that you're not missing any orders on that new product. Courier channels, courier integrations, they work in the same way, really. So if I just load that up as well for you, you can see, I'm sure there's a lot of familiar logos here that will jump out at you, for better or for worse in some cases. But they're very simple to set up again. A lot of them do just require account number and login details, that kind of thing. And of course, what we will do is route the right courier out of any of these to the right order, based on different shipping rules in the system, as Rob mentioned earlier. So a basic example for you of what I mean by this, if I jump into courier service selection here, and I'm just going to remove my client filter here. So you've got a client filter, of course, as I mentioned before, we can reset that to just go back to all of the data in the system. So we can see here for all of our channels, 0 to 1 kilogram in parcel weight, 0 to 100 pounds order value. We can send that, in this instance, raw mail 24 packets. Over a kilogram up to 30 kilograms, over 100 pounds, this will go parcel force 24. So that's a very basic example for you, but just it gives you an idea of, through weight, order value, through destination, we can use a combination of those there in order to connect the right courier up to that order. And, this can be done at product level as well if you need to override these rules for certain products also. Of course, once it is dispatched with the courier, we'll push the tracking information and the dispatch status back to the sales channel as well to complete that chain, go full cycle on the order processing there. And then the final prong of the shipping, really, again aimed at our 3PLs, is the pricing. So if I just jump into my Parcel Force account here and scroll down, so I'm just going to hit Manage Prices here on my Parcel Force 24 account. And again, a couple basic examples to give you an idea. So for all of my clients in the system, 0 to 30 kilograms weight will cost us as a business here £5 to ship those. What we're doing is we're passing on £7 to our clients. Bikes R Us, let's say one of our demo customers negotiated a slightly better deal with us, still 0 to 30 kilograms, still costs us £5. We'll pass on £6 to them. And as you can see down here, we've also got the BT postcode flagged up for Northern Ireland. Again, this costs us £12 this time, and we'll pass on 18 for those. We can also do that through like a shipping zone as well for you. We've also got some very good warehouse management features directly in MintSoft as well. So it's not just your standard sort of order management, courier management system. It's also got warehouse management system functionality also. So if we go into our managed warehouses here, for example, what we can do is create you a sort of semi-interactive warehouse map. Because we're putting all your locations in the system to route pickers to the products, we can also create you this. So we've got an aisle A of racking here, for example, different bays here, and we've got obviously different shelf positions. We can drill down into one of these locations, hit view contents, and see exactly what's in there at any point in time. So that's quite useful. We've got a lot of other warehouse features, and as Rob pointed out, these are all done as well by the mobile scanning devices, such as booking inventory, transferring inventory from one location to another. We can run replenishment reports in order to keep our sort of pick bins stocked up from any deep storage. So yeah, all of this can be done here in the front end or on the mobile scanners. But another nice feature here is the Create ASN or Advanced Shipping Notice feature. Just going to click in here just to take you through this process as well. Just do that again as my system catches up. I think with the screen share, it's struggling now a little bit. Okay, so whilst that catches up, I'll quickly talk you through that process. So creating an ASN or advanced shipping notice essentially allows yourselves or your clients to be able to come in and do that for you. That's really particularly useful for a 3PL to have your clients let you know of any stock due into the warehouse at any point. So they can come and create the ASN, select a supplier the goods are coming from, pop a purchase order reference number in there, and then assign SKUs to that as well. So yeah, I'm just struggling here, I think, with my my internet connection.
Just while Ben resolves, just hopefully resolves that. Just to touch on some of the kind of larger warehouse management features as well. So with more of our enterprise warehouse management solutions, what we often find is that people are looking for one of two things in many cases. It can be that people would want to embark on a project which is a very quick, very low cost, get me up and running as quickly as we can. We're trying to solve a very quick problem type project. And then other customers will approach us and sort of say, do you know what, this is a big strategic project. We're expecting this to take somewhere between 6 and 12 months. And then therefore we then go through a process of kind of scoping, onboarding and sort of delivering and replacing some quite large large system platforms. So I think in terms of your specific stock requirements, I think the best thing to do in all these cases, if you have got something you want to talk to us about, it's all very well having a quick demo online for sort of 5-10 minutes, but please do reach out to us and we'd be happy to set something up specifically to yourselves, which might be our enterprise solution or it might be the MintSoft solution we've been through today. And in many cases, it's actually a combination of both. So for our very, very large warehouses, large online sellers, we'll often use MintSoft as an online integration tool with our enterprise warehouse management platforms, also plugged into those as well as part of a wider access solution. So, sorry, Ben, I just noticed you're back up.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, so just so as you can see here, very simple to create an ASN in the system, and then we'll just add SKUs to that, which will feed then back into our dashboard, onto our goods in calendar. If you do have this module here on your dashboard, you will then be able to see that here as on your calendar as a goods in notice there, which of course you can jump in and receive here in the front end, or of course receive those directly on the mobile scanners themselves. So in terms of actually processing orders as well, obviously a key feature here within MintSoft, there's a number of ways you can do that. Obviously you can process order by order, which is obviously quite popular with B2B orders and things like that, because obviously they're particularly large. However, with sort of your standard e-commerce orders, if we just jump here into new orders, you obviously most likely want to create sort of batches of orders or pick waves. So there's a number of ways you can do that as well. You could just select all of your new orders in the system, and under bulk actions here, you could scroll down and hit create batch, just down here, like so, and hit go. Nice and quick and easy, but of course, as you can see, there's not really any organization to that. So we have other recommended ways of doing this, such as going into our manage batches screen here and hitting create new batch. Okay, so you've got a nice simple form now in order to break that batch down. So we could do this by client for our 3PLs out there. You could pick on a particular client here for that. Channel, if you want to drill into sort of certain sales channels. We could do this by courier service or courier service type. If you want to process your sort of next day deliveries, for example, before moving on to your standard, that kind of thing. Of course, there's some other nice features in here, such as single line order only and single unit only. Single line order will also let you drill down into a specific product as well. If you've got a particularly fast moving product, you know you're going to do sort of a few hundred of those today. They work very well with the bulk picking method on our mobile scanning app also, just enabling you to go around and pick a large number of orders very quickly. The multi-line order option here is very useful with the multi-tote picking method that we have. So you can essentially have maybe nine boxes or totes on a trolley with different barcodes on, and the scanners, as they route the pickers round in a nice order, which generally we sort of default is alphanumeric, so we'll start you A01, end you Z99, that kind of thing, but that's customizable also, so we can work with you to create the most appropriate picking route. As they go round, the scanner will talk to the user and ask them to put the appropriate products in the appropriate totes to keep all of the orders separate, so that when it comes to packing those orders, they're all ready to go into the individual boxes. Also, we have a few bulk printing methods as well after we create batches, which I'll just jump into now. Okay, so let's pick on this one here, for example. Okay, so here we've got, so this is what the batch screen here would look like. And we've got a mobile tab here to send it to all of the scanners, or we could pick on a particular user to send that, that batch to. We can also bulk print out PDF courier labels here. Okay, it's an example for you there. We've only got one courier label on this order, but we can print out all of them on here by the hundreds there. We could also get a picking summary at this point. Again, I think there's just a couple of products on this one here. See how we're being routed here alphanumerically. We'd have all of the SKUs, all the items, all the locations on here for you as well. We can also print out dispatch notes with the courier labels. We could send them all to a thermal printer, for example. Okay, as we go through, we've got the picking summary there as well. We've got dispatch notes, which you can see we've got a barcode on the bottom as well. This is for our scan to dispatch feature, which I'll show you next, followed by the courier label there. So whether you're using sort of mobile scanning app or you're doing a sort of paper-based pick, you can still use the scan to dispatch feature with a little USB scanner. So if I jump into scan to dispatch here, essentially what we do here is either scan the order barcode from the dispatch note or an order summary, perhaps even the barcode that's on the tote that you've picked the order into. So I'll just give you an example of how this looks as I give this a quick scan here. And that's just going to dispatch it off if it was an appropriate order. I've got an error there because it's not quite set up right there for some reason. I think I'm in the wrong, if I jump into my Access demo account, we'll probably see that work. Sorry about that. As I switched over, I must have gone into the wrong account. Scan to dispatch, and we'll try that again. There we go, now the system's happy. So we've got a nice green banner there just to say that that's dispatched from the system, and it will automatically print out your shipping label and your dispatch note for you also. So that's one method, it's very automatic, and you can slow that down slightly and have a double verification method if you wish as well. So I'll give another order a quick scan for you. I'm conscious of time, so I'll wrap up in a second for you. So we'll give that a quick scan, and we can see all the orders here that are on, all the products on the order, and we've got 2 of these candle gift sets. So as I give that a quick scan for you here, okay, now we can see we've got 1 left to scan. And that can either dispatch straight away for you, or as a 3PL, you may be interested in this rework screen. Okay, now multi-channel sellers also, as you can glance over the courier service, the number of parcels, the parcel weight, you may want to adjust. However, you've got this reworks cost here as a 3PL. Essentially, what you can do is have barcodes generated by the system for different services, such as a gift wrapping service or leaflets, for example. And a quick scan of those can quickly capture a cost that you want to add onto that invoice under that order for your clients. And of course, it could be packaging or anything like that also. And once you're happy, a quick scan again can automatically dispatch that out of the system and create your labels and your dispatch notes for you, where of course, they move to dispatched, order status summary. So yourselves or your clients could come in and track the orders directly from the system. So we could search for an order number, a postcode, and a customer name, and we can hit actions and track and go straight through to the courier service webpage with that tracking information on. You've also got another nice feature here in the details. Just quickly show you this one under the history tab here. where you have a nice timeline of everything that's happened to the order from new to dispatched with the user that performed the action. So if you do allow your clients to edit orders up to a certain point at all, you'll be able to see what they've done also. Of course, once that's done, then Midsoft's going to come through for our 3PLs and calculate all the shipping costs, goods in costs, picking costs, etc., and create an unconfirmed invoice for you first of all. So the reason it's unconfirmed is just to give you a chance to glance over it, make any final changes, basically just to make sure there's no sort of extra zeros on the end. It's going to send your clients running for the hills, really. So you can see here in my summary, we've got storage costs being charged for here. Everything else is zero in this little demo account. We got a nice breakdown below of everything that they're being invoiced for orders, collections, returns, goods in. You can see all my data here in storage. It's very granular. So we've got the ground level pallet, small pick bin, all the different charges for the different location types there. These you can edit or export to CSV for reconciling. And of course, you just give it an invoice name up the top, any comments, and hit create invoice. Once that's done, you've got the option to, obviously your clients can view these, see the breakdown, see the PDF version. You could just quick click of the button, send that straight to an accounting integration. As Rob mentioned, there's a number to choose from. And you can also view it in the accounting integration as well, straight from Minsoft as well. Then there are also a whole host of different reports. And I won't go into all of these because there's a lot to choose from, but everything you would expect under inventory reports, courier reports, accounting, it goes on. And we can also track KPIs as well, packing reports, picking reports here. And these can be scheduled as well for your clients or for yourselves, daily, weekly, monthly. These can just automatically run for you. So yeah, I appreciate I've taken up a fair bit of your time there. I hope you found that useful. It's very, very difficult. Minsoft, as you can see, is feature rich. It's hard to go into a lot of detail in such a short space of time. So we'll go into a Q&A session now and welcome any questions. Thanks.
Well, guys, thank you so much. We build this as software solutions that are transforming the warehouse, and I think you proved just that with that presentation. As you've been going through the webinar this morning, people have been coming in and out of the chat room, and a few questions that have been asked are actually people who want to watch a recording of this webinar and want to share it throughout their organization. So a recording of this webinar will be available on logisticsmanager.com that you'll be able to share with your colleagues, and you'll get an email after we finish this session today showing you exactly where to go. So I hope that answers those questions for those who've been asking about that. And yeah, there's still time to ask plenty of questions as well, so make sure you get them in. I'd like to kick off by asking if you could explain the difference between your enterprise WMS and Mintsoft. I'm a simple journalist, so maybe I'm not best positioned to answer that one. I'm hoping you guys can handle that for me.
Yeah, no problem at all. Ben, do you want me to take that one?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, no problem.
Great. Fundamentally, the Mintsoft acquisition, and it was an acquisition at the early part of this year. There's loads of information online about the founder of the business, and there's a really nice story behind all of that. So I'd recommend sort of Luke Groves, go and Google him and find out the background to that. But fundamentally, the Mintsoft product is very, very well suited for anybody who wants to take advantage of selling online. So it's very much around integrating in with lots of different channels, lots of different marketplaces, and a marketplace is an area where people come and sell. So Amazon, eBay, not on the high street, it's a platform for sellers to come and sell their goods and services. So that's really the real Mintsoft go-to-market, is all about high volume, online sales, label creation, working with couriers, optimizing what you're doing. Whereas the enterprise WMS solution is a little bit more geared towards sort of pallet in, pallet out, what we would call probably more traditional warehousing. So if you're a very pallet in, pallet out based organization, supplying into big DCs, working on behalf of, if you're a 3PL, working on behalf of big, retailers, and it's big lumpy stuff, then it just tends to be better suited towards that organization. But the reality is lots of our enterprise customers were over the moon when we made the Mintsoft acquisition, and now Mintsoft and 3PL enterprise platform and the wholesale enterprise platform basically all sit together as one great big lovely happy solution, providing the best of all worlds. So yeah, I think key thing there, if that's any questions around that, come and speak to us. We can understand a bit more about what it is you do, and we will tell you whether you're one or the other, or potentially both.
I've had one question come in from someone who sadly put themselves down as anonymous. We want to know your names, so put your name down there. And they were talking about the carrier selection tool that you went through there, and we're asking whether it works on packed weights and dimensions as well. I don't know if we covered that particular point.
Ben, so in terms of packed weights and dimensions, is that one for you?
Yeah, so yeah, it works on generally weight, value and destination. Dimensions will come, okay, that's something that they are working on at the moment, but currently anyone that's looking to run a rule based on the size of the products will do that at product level. So if we've got a particularly large item, for example, they will just do that at product level. But yeah, dimensions, I think that will be coming. At the minute, it's weight, order value, destination, or product itself.
I've got a question that's come in from a chap called Nathan Staley as well. Thank you, Nathan. He says, I have a number of customers that would like me to give them a training video for their account usage. How to use the basic tools of Mintsoft, import manual orders, create ASN, check products, that sort of thing. Is this something that you guys can provide?
Okay. So it sounds like Nathan's an existing customer. So we do have some video content, Nathan. Yes, it is something we are building more out of. What I'd also recommend is, I'm sure you're aware, in the bottom right-hand corner of the solution, there are the help guides. So the help guides are actually publicly available. So we do publish those. They're not sat behind a firewall. So if there's something specifically that you want your customers to be able to see or do, there are some videos built within the help guides. So if you send them the link to the help guides, and if any problems, again, feel free to drop us an email directly. We can give you that link. But you can send that link to your customer, and they can basically explore the features of Mintsoft. So for goods in, goods out, everything you've just described there. Some bits we have got videos for, other bits we're still building out video content for, but there is definitely an article on what you've just described there for everything you've just asked for. And again, that's a publicly available link you can give to your end customer.
Nathan tells me he's from a 3PL, and he says, great, thank you as well. So
no problem at all, Nathan.
Questions, thank you for that. I've got another one here who says they already have a warehouse management system, but they really like the look of the integrations Mintsoft can offer. What would they need to do to stop with an existing supplier, or can they use Mintsoft on an existing system?
Yeah, really good question. Well, the answer is both. I suppose it depends on if you are happy with your existing provider, if it's doing everything you need it to do. There's a strong argument with any software change brings risk, and if things are working and you're happy with the way they're working, you're happy with your supplier, then we are very happy to work with existing technology. So albeit in a previous life we may compete with some of these warehouse management software suppliers, we also now work with them as well. So yes, you can take Mintsoft in isolation and overlay that onto your existing warehouse management system if you want to. Equally, you can review our enterprise warehouse management system or Mintsoft in its own right and decide whether that's a capable solution. But we've got lots of our now friendly competitors, should we say, we now work with and actually bolster their solutions as well. So absolutely, yes.
This next question might seem like quite a straightforward one, but I bet it's not quite as straightforward to answer. In terms of how many warehouses does your software run?
Okay. So how many warehouses? So we've got well over 450 customers. I mean, across the supply chain division, we've got about 2,500 clients. So in terms of actually clients, in terms of names of customers, there's over 2,500 managing stock. 450 of those are using our advanced warehouse management tools, Mintsoft and enterprise solutions. But in terms of number of warehouses, I mean, there will literally be thousands, because many of those individual companies are multiple warehouse. Lots are single warehouse, but lots of them are like lots of, some customers are 10, 15 warehouses, and a warehouse certainly in the Mintsoft world, a warehouse can literally be a stock room. If it's a remote stock room or a small depot or something like that that you need to keep track of, then that really, in system terms, is classed as a warehouse. So yeah, I mean thousands, just thousands, and that's across, that's across all lots of different geographies as well.
Amazing. We love it when people ask questions and they put their name. So this is from Sophie Breslin, and she says, can Mintsoft interface with automated picking as well as manual?
So in terms of, I suppose it depends on Sophie's definition of automated picking. If you mean automated picking methodologies in terms of very automated ways of system driven and having a barcode scanner, then yes, we do that. If you mean automated picking in terms of robots or mechanical handling machines, then again, we've got an open API and we have looked at that. And with the enterprise product, we certainly have done that. With Mintsoft, it's something we're looking at. We're looking at things with QBScan for automatic sizing and weights and so on. But I possibly just need a little bit more detail around the actual what do you mean by automated picking? That's probably
I'm going to say a brand of robotics here that is in the warehouse that comes from China, Geek Plus.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so Geek Plus, yeah. So the short answer is no. We've not done anything specifically with Geek Plus, but we'd be very, very happy to, and we'd be more than happy to look at that. And it's an area that we are sort of heavily investigating at the moment, shall we say? But no, it's not. That's not kind of what we're doing every other project, but it's the general direction of travel of where we are looking to go. So again, if that's a key requirement, reach out, speak to us. If everything else stacks up, it's something we can certainly look at with you.
Sophie says thank you, which is even better. I've got a question here from Michael Guild. I'm going to drop in some more names here. He says, have you worked with the likes of Dematic, NAP, those kind of organisations?
We have, yes, certainly Dematic we have, and I think again with that sort of, I mean, in terms of when you talk about sort of real mechanical handling, sort of automated picking solutions, we've got one of our customers is actually, I think, can I mention them? I think I can. They're part of effectively an examination board. So what they'll be doing is actually grading papers, and they're throwing down papers onto an automated sortation system. And part of our solution is a fixed head reader, and actually, let's say I'm looking at maths papers, and I'm throwing down maths papers, and what it's doing is verifying that those are maths papers that we are then sorting into a pile of maths papers, and then if it finds something that's not meant to be there, an English paper, it basically stops the conveyor, segregates that out, and then it carries on. So yes, we have done integration with that, but again, it's not every other project we're doing that sort of thing. It is more of a, when people come to us and say, can you do this, it becomes a bit more of a what Ben's just taken you through. And when we talk about standard integrations, we like to think of a standard integration as something that you can go into Mintsoft or Enterprise WMS and click a few buttons, and within a matter of minutes you are integrated to a web-based platform. That to us is proper standard integration, whereas both anything to do with robotics, Dematic, NAPs, and those sorts of providers, they become, yes, we can do it, but it becomes a bit more of a project-based integration rather than what we would call like a completely standard integration, which is probably obvious, but we just like to be clear in terms of what we call standard and what is all possible, but it just becomes a bit of a project. So yes, the short answer is yes, but just to give some context to, I don't want to just sit here and say yes to that, because it's not a case of clicking a few buttons. It's a project-based integration. Yes. Okay.
Rob, Ben, we've got lots of questions to work through here, so I'll try and quick fire just to get through them.
Okay.
So sadly, this is on anonymous again. Does your system automate replenishment from a bulk location or bulk warehouse to a fine pick location?
Yes, in all products, yes. So with Mintsoft, that's a feature that we've had in kind of quite a basic way until recently, but we're expecting, well, I think it might have just been released, but the short answer to that is yes.
Okay. And this is a question from Thomas Yan. Thomas asks, do you guys have any experiences working with high frequency grocery picking using Mintsoft? And he'd like to know the pros and cons, please.
Okay, so in terms of high frequency grocery pricking, so if we're talking about fresh produce, Thomas, then there's always some intricacies with fresh produce in terms of, you know, 2 pallets of grapes might both look like green grapes, but actually they're quite distinctly different. They may have a very different cost price to those 2 grapes, and sometimes people need to be able to make a manual selection about which ones to pick. So that is all possible, basically. But in terms of, I mean, if I take the word grocery out of there a little bit, because I suppose that could be interpreted in slightly different ways. But yeah, I mean, certainly high frequency operations, yes. I mean, we've got customers processing tens of thousands of orders on a daily basis. And we've got lots of customers that process tens of thousands of orders on a monthly basis, and in fact, hundreds of thousands of orders on a monthly basis. So yeah, I think it depends what your requirements are, but fundamentally, obviously, what we're doing, we're keeping track of the inventory. It's a very quick and easy way of booking things in, a very quick and easy way of booking things out. So if we're talking about fresh produce, fresh grocery, that's critical. It's about the speed of handling, the speed of getting things in, speed of getting things out and onto the shelf, or virtually, you know, into people's hands. If you're doing fruit and veg boxes, which are, you know, we're seeing a huge increase in as well.
I'll just add to that just very quickly. Batch numbers, you know, working on a FIFO basis, that's all fine as well when it comes to the grocery.
Yeah, really good point, Ben. Yeah, expiry dates, batch numbers. Yeah, really good point. Yeah.
This one, sadly anonymous. I'd love to know who this is. We're based in the Netherlands. Have you got any customers in the Netherlands? He doesn't say where they are in the Netherlands.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. We've got customers all over the world. We've got a number of sites in mainland Europe. We've got customers in New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, China, Hong Kong. Yes, so yes, we do. Yeah, but Netherlands specifically, yes, we do.
Yeah, and US, did you say there as well?
Yeah. We do have customers in the US. Yeah, we've seen a real spike in inquiries coming from the US through COVID, actually, especially for our MintSoft product. That was. Yeah, that's also. I mean, in terms of our current UK, we are sort of predominantly a UK-based organisation, and we do generally work to UK support hours, but we do have 24/7 support options available for business critical issues. But again, there's some. Again, if you Google MintSoft reviews, then we've actually got quite a few nice reviews from customers in Australia that sort of talk about how we interact with them, and obviously the 12-hour time difference, but it works. It works. So yeah.
And just, Thomas has come back to me again, who was just asking about grocery picking just then. He says the point he was trying to make was the difference between general merchandise, where you have 1 or 2, it says eaches per order. I'm not sure what he means there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And grocery, where there are 20 to 30 and a lot more different SKUs per order. Okay.
Yes. So. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the e-commerce, the general e-commerce fulfillment market, yes, you're talking generally, you know, 2.3 lines is the average of what somebody would order. You know, if you take everybody's kind of online presence, you know, it's lots of 1s and 2s. But yeah, certainly larger wholesale grocery type orders where you're picking 30, 40 items and potentially like multiple packs of the same item as well. Again, that's very, very common. That does start to gravitate a little bit more towards our enterprise platform sometimes. We tend to find MintSoft is a bit more used by, we do have customers that do both, but it does tend to be a little bit more used by your 1s and 2s, whereas when you start getting to pallets and cases of items, we do tend to sort of see more of our enterprise clients benefiting from that or using those sorts of features. But yeah, I mean, that's all perfectly doable, and we've got lots of customers that do big trade, well, what we would call like a big trade order or something like that, or a larger wholesale order. Yeah, absolutely. If I've understood that question correctly.
I'm hoping so. I'm sure Thomas will come back to me in the Q&A box. Okay, well, we've had a really interactive webinar there, guys. Thomas has come back to me. He says, thank you. Again, we love it when people like
Manners cost nothing. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks.
That's marvellous. So yeah, I'm afraid this webinar is coming to an end, and I hope everybody has enjoyed it. And thank you, everybody, for your questions. So, of course, I'd like to thank our speakers and our sponsors today. That's Rob Hodgson, who's Warehousing and Online Fulfillment Industry Lead at the Access Group, and Ben Kay, Business Development Manager at Access Mintsoft, for their time and expertise this morning. We have a few things coming up as well. Just 1 second. So the next IntraLogisteX Connected webinar takes place at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, the 6th of October, which I've put here is next week, believe it or not, Tuesday, the 6th of October. Where is this year going? Which is titled Improving Order Picking Efficiencies. We'll be joined by Randex and Pictolite Systems. So make sure you look out for a registration email in your inbox, and that's 2 p.m. on Tuesday, the 6th of October. And finally, as I said before, don't forget there's a recording of this webinar available on logisticsmanager.com, so you can catch up and share with colleagues. I'd like to thank everybody who's put in their thank yous for speaking and organising in the Q&A box. That's absolutely marvellous. And that's it. Thank you again for attending this webinar. Thank you to our speakers and sponsors, Access Mintsoft, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.